Hello and welcome to Talking Bottom on the Young Ones. I'm Paul Tanter.
I'm Matt Brooks.
And I'm Ange Pearson.
And this week we're looking at Series 2, Episode 4, Time. An episode that gets its title due to a time-travelling element in the third act, but for which the majority of the story focuses on the aftermath of last night's party and the resulting appearance of a woman in Rick's bed. Yes, he's woken up with a girl. A real girl with great big wobbly knockers, and she just so happens to be Adrian Edmonton's wife. Except they weren't married when this was recorded, so it's okay that Rick shagged her. Except he didn't, did he? He's fibbing to look hunky. A girl took refuge in his bed and now he's lying through his teeth like the poor sad git that he is, like someone who would need a dating agency or who would need to place an ad in a Lonely Hearts column. You may have noticed several bottom references during this intro, and that's no coincidence. The last episode and this have so many moments that were later echoed in, or in some cases just replicated in bottom. There's a case to be made that this is the period where Rick the student bridges the gap to Richard, whether it's peeking at women asleep under bed covers, miming sexual acts behind them, lying about non-existent sexual conquests, objectifying women whilst presenting himself as a feminist, or just in general people crashing down through ceilings on large household items. This episode is the closest to seeing Richard's younger days. We also see the house time travel to medieval times, discover the woman Rick claims to have shagged is a killer, and get a high production value Dallas spoof that's revealed to be a dream a full 2 years before Dallas pulled the same trick. It's time to discuss time.
Yeah.
So, what first aired 5th of June 1984 with a really high production value Dallas spoof.
Shot on film.
Yeah, when you watch it, when I watched it for the rewatch, you know what it made me think of in terms of like just the look of like the grain and the lighting. It made me think of the A-Team for some reason. It didn't make me think of Dallas. It made me think of the A-Team.
Yeah, a lot of those American, the opening credits are in that format, aren't they?
Yeah,
so it's obviously spoofing Dallas, but there's so many more. Like I think Dynasty and all of those kind of ones as well. Like and you're right, the A-Team, they do have those kind of that black frame around it, and then obviously the titles flashing up. It is, and then there's a similar theme from obviously last week's one where obviously they changed the title sequence. With Nasty.
There's no traditional once in every lifetime, intro.
But this one is a rug pull because it starts by saying the young one presents time. And as a child watching it, I thought this was like a kind of a fantasy episode and they were all going to be playing different parts. I remember going, no, I don't want to see this.
It feels like when you see a flashback episode coming on for things now.
Yeah, but not even a flashback episode, but like...
So when the sort of Dallas spoof starts and Rick appears with bleached white teeth, did you think, oh shit, it's going to be like this for the whole episode?
Yes, because it's Vivian as Randy the cowboy and all that stuff.
And then were you very relieved then when it turns around and it's Neil with the joint in the
yeah.
I mean, I can see why you would think it because it is a complete departure from the usual Young Ones play-in, which you could think with Nasty, but they get into themselves very quickly.
And it's still a young one. It's a scary Young Ones episode. It says the Young Ones presents time. Like I thought it's kind of a spin-off thing. That
it's all part of the filmic attitude, though, isn't it? And it is very, very well shot, isn't it? Like
it really is. Yeah.
The teeth on Rick. I was marveling at how
neon
they've done.
White, aren't they? So what veneers?
Do you reckon it is just Tipex? Like it really does look like they've just painted something over his teeth.
It looked to me like it didn't look like he had veneers or false fronts over the front of his teeth.
It's just the ones showing.
But also they've only done the middle ones, so you can see at the edges.
Oh, could you?
They haven't done every single tooth.
Yeah, they haven't.
I hadn't noticed that.
It's part of the gag. I think.
I don't think Nigel Neal has the same.
No.
Effect. I think it's just Rick.
Yeah, but but he's playing Neil within that universe, isn't he? Whereas Rick is playing
he's got an American accent.
Yeah.
Can't count to 6. I tell you, I think what really dates this segment is that E.T. has only been out for 2 years.
Yeah.
E.T.'s like one of those films that just feels like it's always been there. It's like King Kong, one of those kind of things.
Well, because they make a reference to like, have you seen E.T.?
Yes.
Don't they? Yeah.
Well, the character's name is E.T.
Yeah.
I've got to see E.T. It's been out 2 years, Mr. Valvinus. Have you seen it yet?
E.T. here is like in this case, J.R. was like the main character, or the character that everyone remembered in Dallas. So this is the sort of reference of rather than J.R., it's E.T.
Yeah, it's that joke, isn't it? This episode, obviously this scene reminds me of A Comic Strip Presents. Don't you think?
They were shot on film as well, weren't they?
Yeah, and the entire vibe of it, you know what I mean? That's it was almost like fistful of travelers.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? I think you're right, because in the young ones, Rick plays Rick, who is a bit more of a sort of snivelly, often nervous, like character who's an underling to other people. But in this and in the comic strip films, usually he's playing more of a confident, bombastic person who owns the screen more.
Yeah, but you can still see his hair is, it's still the Rick hair at the back and everything, isn't it? Like they're not. I mean, obviously, it is. Turns out that it's Neil dreaming that he's woken up and he's the head of this oil like empire, and he's making everything all right.
But like it's not
giving away all the money.
Nice that in his dream he's being altruistic.
Yes, and Rick. So Mr. Valvinus, who Rick is playing, comes in furious, and then he's just like, things. This company's been doing a lot of bad stuff. He's like, my God, you're right. And he's completely on board instantly from that. Like, let's be Indians.
Yeah.
It is, and it also reminds me a little bit of National Lampoons, like, with the credit sequence where it's got the dumb blonde with big tits, and then the dumb blonde with big tits who drinks, and then what is it, like I think it's the big blonde with dumb tits.
With dumb tits, that's it. They're round the back, which, as Edwina would say, it says lifts and separates, then it slings them around the back. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's that they're obviously doing a pastiche of American comedy / film / all of those sort of cultural touch points. Really,
you feel like John Belushi could be turning up in it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun because it's a very short sequence, like you say. I think if it wouldn't sustain an entire episode.
I was like, oh fucking hell, I don't want to watch this. I was thinking first, and oh my God, I had not clocked that this was before the dream sequence in Dallas. I thought that was another gag.
Yeah, and interestingly, I think Ed By and Paul Jackson on the commentary, they've misremembered that, haven't they? They're like, we're taking the piss out of the fact it was a dream.
And so I thought, I've got to check the dates on that. And that went out in the Dallas episode was, I think, November or September 1986. So it was a good 2 years later.
So did they watch the young ones?
Yeah.
Got the idea?
There's an argument to be made that Dallas got the idea from this. They stole it. It was all a dream. Stems now from the young ones.
I don't think young ones invented it was all a dream.
No, but Dallas has become they became the byword for it was all a dream. Everyone thinks of Dallas now, don't they?
They do, yeah. I mean, who is it, the character in the shower?
Robbie?
It's Bobby Ewing.
Bobby Ewing, that's it, yeah. Which Rick is Bobby, isn't it, in this? It says he's Bobby.
Oh, is he? Okay.
When at the beginning, in the title sequence, it's got him as Bobby.
He's Bobby, and Nigel is E.T. / JR. Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it? All the way that, like, what is it? Art reflecting life, all that kind of stuff. But it's art reflecting art. Just similar stuff. I mean, the British Empire is the one I remember.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that was all a dream. But so we get this really high production value opening, which is a spoof that is probably about the length that Matt can bear without it.
Before I turned off,
without it being back in the young one's house.
But then we get into what I feel like is the main gist or the main thrust of the story, which is Rick wakes up. And there's a girl in his bed. All right, so there was a party the night before. Vivian is trying to deal with his hangover by banging his head against the wall.
It's not made clear if the party was at theirs or somewhere else, because they do mention it wasn't there because Helen mentions, you were all out.
Okay,
so it wasn't at that.
Yeah, she says I snuck in.
Yeah, that's right. So it's Rick. You don't see Rick's. First of all, you see some of the other guys. He's not the first reveal, I don't think. Is that right? I think first you see
Vivian banging his head.
Shut up, you bastards! It's only 11 o'clock.
Neil waking up from the dream.
Yes, and then
then the church bells.
Now, do you
permeated?
Yeah. Then Rick. Yeah, I like the fact that he just looks. Oh, okay. Goes back to sleep. What the fuck? Hang on, that's not normal.
Yeah,
his bed is great in that. It's so he's got a green stain in his hair. It's quite subtle.
I like the anarchy sign on the sheet
been
on top.
Painted on, and it looks horrible.
But the bed itself is like proper grotty, kind of like grim, disgusting.
The stains on Rick's clothes are
and
disgusting.
His pants when he comes out,
and his shirt.
I slept in his shirt and pants, and then he's to get ready, just puts his trousers on.
Yeah, and he's got the same sort of like big Y fronts that we've come to associate with Richie later on down the line.
Absolutely, I would. From your intro, Paul, I was thinking it throughout this episode that you do see so many glimpses of foreshadowing or whatever you want to call it in Rick's performance. Like he's absolutely very similar to Richie in parts of this episode.
When he wakes up with Jennifer Saunders there, or Helen, as her character name is, what's the first thing he does? It's what he does when he's in the same room as Rottweiler and Rottweiler's girlfriend, which is have a little peek under the cover.
And can't be quiet about it. It has to go.
Which is why we know, the viewer know absolutely that he's not had anything happen with this girl overnight. It's a shock to him that she's there.
He holds his head to kind of mime the fact that I don't remember what's happened.
Yeah.
Now, do you think the time travel thing has already happened, or does it happen at some point when they're here? Because I'm thinking of the church bells are from a medieval town.
Yes, I think you're right.
And they just don't notice yet.
There's not usually church bells, is there, in their universe?
I'd assume that something happened when they were all pissed.
Yeah, and I don't think Helen is from the olden days. I think she's from contemporary. She's dressed contemporary.
Also, the night later on says they're giving away contemporary dames in that. There's a house from the 20th century. They're giving away contemporary women or something.
She does have a very unusual outfit on, though. She's sort of another way, almost Goldilocks.
Yes, it is like Goldilocks.
Sort of fairy tale.
What confused me is that Lexi Sal's jester introduces her in the show. So, I thought, does she belong to that world or not? But no, she does mention there was a path she's got to go in before the guys turned up. So they turned in maybe at midnight. Who knows?
Again,
who cares?
There's no point in trying to think of any logical kind of explanation. But she's definitely wandered in from some other dimension, other realm.
You think from another realm?
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what I mean. She's not from their universe, is she?
You don't think so?
No, because the pirate radio is not from their universe, and that pirate radio DJ knows about the murderess that's been really. I think it's all meant to be wrapped up in some sort of weird mishmash. I don't think it's meant to make a linear.
Yeah, because the
story.
Pirate thing isn't medieval times. That's from pirate times, which is when I don't know what that is. But
don't unpick the thread.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
But it's fantastical.
Okay.
It's a whole collision.
She could have come in from the 50s.
I would say
maybe.
It's almost like Time Bandits. This episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the idea that you can have all of these different things kind of crashing through your bedroom, right? That's what the Time Bandits thing is, isn't it? Like it's very much like so many different historical periods
and we know
colliding.
We know that they are Python fans because they talked about Python. The last episode they had Terry Jones. This one, very soon into it, they do a spoof of the Cheese Shop sketch where Rick does a brilliant impression of Michael Palin in that sketch. Yeah. This is a cheese shop. No, sir.
That's phenomenal.
Like
it's a throwaway gag.
It's about that sketch. I didn't time it, but it must be less than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, that's that sketch buggered there.
Yeah.
Bang, done. Okay.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir.
No, sir. I love the little tash as well.
Yeah. It's like a toothbrush moustache or a Hitler moustache.
It's the same costume that Michael Palin wears.
Yeah.
In that it's the hair flat, the moustache, the apron. Yeah.
I love
just no cheese.
Wasted effort. Kind of, like too much prep for a really small payoff. I think it makes it funnier.
But just to say, like the meta thing with that is that obviously the cheese is all kind of sold out, isn't it, as well in the Cheese Shop sketch?
Yeah.
So it could still work.
So if they would have saved themselves a lot of time if Michael Palin had just said no, we haven't got any.
Yeah. Exactly. That is the joke.
You don't like the gene. I mean, say the formula of those sketches is, and Graham Chapman and John Cleese were very open about this. But they said we're just basically listing things.
Yeah.
It's just listing stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
It plays into that idea of repetition and what you're expecting to come next.
Yeah.
And that's why you find it funnier the longer a list goes on.
Yeah.
And that's what, if you get lists really complicated and you really double down on them, then they just seem to get funnier and funnier because you're not really sure what to expect next.
Yeah.
And then it comes and you recognise it. So you've got a whole load of recognition laughter as well as unexpected, especially when they then cut in with a really random one that you really weren't thinking
after
of.
Venezuelan beaver cheese.
Exactly.
When you feel like you know where the rhythm is, then they can pull the rug out.
Yeah, exactly.
But even before that, so Rick wakes up. We know he's the eternal child who wants attention from people, but here it's his finally he can get a bit of street cred. But he needs to be subtle about it. So what do? You go downstairs and you go, hey, I'm just going to make 5 cups of tea.
Yeah.
Pause. Please, someone ask me why 5. Yeah. No one's asking me. Damn it.
He's not all that subtle, is he?
Even the fact of just making tea's off, isn't it? Like, normally you don't make tea.
Yeah, Mike questions the making of the tea more so than how many, doesn't he?
And then oh no, and throws a cup away. Oh no, we've only got 4 cups, we need 5. Smirk.
It's a great sequence, that the way he's like ripping the tea bags up to put the tea leaves
and
into
then
the
throws
teapot.
the empty tea bags in along with the tea leaves as well. So what was the point?
Yeah, it's just ludicrous. He doesn't know how to make tea.
And fills up from the tap, another precursor to bottom.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
exactly.
From
A steaming
the
cold
tap.
tea. Yeah.
Do you think Mike actually does have a friend Trevor lives in the bin?
No, he's winding Rick up, isn't he?
I don't know.
I love that with Mike, you never really know. There's nothing.
Is he mental or is he?
It's like, I love the way he's like, he's in
He's
church.
in church, yeah.
And that ties into the bells, actually. But yeah, I think he's definitely winding Rick up. He's seeing whether he'll go along with it, which of course Rick does, because Mike is the one with the power in that dynamic. So fun watching Rick talking to the bin and all that, like kind of just awkwardness of like trying to convince the made-up person in the bin that he doesn't really want the cup of tea. It's a lot of fun. And then on the commentary, I love that Ed talks about the 2 shots.
He talks about
it is very bottom.
That is a deep 2 where you have one character in the foreground, one in the background. Yeah, and Ed's a big fan of these.
Just holding focus on both of them, because having them in different planes, so to speak, it's hard for the depth of field. I don't know what you do, how you get that.
Like
more light.
I mean, the cameras that you use on sitcoms, the depth of field would be fairly open, wouldn't it? So like you could generally have most things in focus. It wouldn't be like shooting on like a Canon 5D where like someone leans backwards and oh god, they've gone out of focus.
A narrow depth of field is when it's very small and it will go out of focus and the background is blurry.
Yeah.
So then a wide depth of field or deep depth of field.
Yeah, it would have a wider one. But still, like it's not like a case of like everything's in focus. So there's still a challenge between things in the foreground and the background.
And it was interesting, they said it's a real challenge for the sound guys as well.
That's true. Because they like to go to the wide shot frequently, the person who's nearer the camera, you can get the boom over the top of them closer. But the person, in this case, Mike, who also is shorter than everyone else as well, is sat over at the kitchen table and the shot is wider. The boom operator can't dip into the shot. It's a real challenge, and especially also if there's only one boom operator and there's 2 people talking, they've got to go from one to the other between it. It's a big challenge, and people don't realize the work and craft that goes into capturing good sound and accurate sound, but also not crossing the lights so you get a boom reflection on the actors and that kind of thing.
That is because I think a lot of the time you're like, oh, saw the boom then or whatever. Like people do notice when there are just these occasional but like the actual amount of work that goes into it. And it's interesting they say later, don't they, about the ceiling obviously not being there. And how difficult it would have been to get that shot of them all on the step ladder. And they've had to build on top of the set that was there. And the commitment to making this show what they wanted it, because it's so often presumably you get told, no, can't do that, that's going to cost too much or it's going to take too much time.
Change that. Can you change that and do it differently? And you have to like water down the thing you want to do and change it to something else, and it can be a bit dispiriting because you think, well, this isn't the thing I wanted to do. I had such set ideas for this, and now we've been told no because there's not enough time, not enough money, or they can't be bothered or whatever. Do
you think the BBC were kind of behind Series 1 but not so sure? Series 2 they were like, you have what you fucking want.
I would hope at this point anyone who was like signing checks at the BBC would have enough sense and intelligence to go, just give Paul Jackson the money and let him get on with it. Here's the money, go off and do what you want to do and come back in 3 months or however long it is with 6 episodes.
As long as you don't put any flash frames in it, because I'm going to go fucking mental.
Can't do everything you want because that is now illegal.
But Rick fills the teapot from the tap, so it's at least, if it was the hot tap, it would be warm, Then bumps into Neil, like, oh, you've deliberately scolded me. I am the Elephant Man. I'm disfigured for life. Like he was floating on air moments before, but just seeing Neil brings him back down to like lick up the tea from the floor.
It just brings out the Gestapo officer in him, doesn't it? Get on your knees and lick it up off the floor.
And Neil's gonna do it. He's oh, okay. Oh, hang on. Does there have any sugar in it? That's the thing. That's the line.
I love the way Rick's like, a little bit, yes. And he's put loads of fucking sugar in that.
Yes, he did, didn't he? He didn't use a spoon.
But yeah, that entire exchange with Neil and Rick is a real power battle, actually, isn't it? Of their crazy, ridiculous argument, but of like the minds. It's like, and pigs, and what is their contribution to civilization?
Pigs are really intelligent, actually. I love Rick's. Oh, are they?
It's bacon, isn't it? It's bacon.
Bacon and rolling around in the muds.
Yeah, it's great that. But then actually not weirdly, but I would say about the shot that's then captured as Vivian comes in and Rick then smashes into Vivian with the tea is sort of lost because Rick takes the tea again and then he smashes into Vivian as he comes in and he does look frustrated, but that is sort of lost because there's no dialogue connected to it. So it isn't like a big gag, even though it could be another like, and now it's Vivian.
You're
but of course,
by the dynamite on his head.
But because of the power dynamic, Rick isn't going to have a go at Vivian for coming in and spilling the tea because Vivian's the one who's not going to give a shit, is he? Like,
I guess by now he's learned anytime I moan at Vivian, I'll just get another smack.
He just get ignored or exactly, have more violence.
But do you think that was a real stick of dynamite in his head? Because it looks very realistic, doesn't it? It says dynamite on it, so what else could it be?
It could almost have Acme on it, couldn't it?
I was going to say he's a walking Wile E. Coyote style character there as he walks in, isn't he? Like, it's so fun.
Speaking of animals, Dawn French turns up as the Easter Bunny.
Glad you added Easter Bunny.
We've just right. We've had a scene with Jennifer Saunders before. Dawn French turns up, does her Easter Bunny skit where we find out it's actually not Easter, so she just sort of apologizes and slinks off. And then later on, Jennifer Saunders comes back. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders in the same room as each other. So I think they're the same person.
Yes. Very good point. Very good point.
In this universe. It is interesting they were never on screen together in the Young Ones, isn't it? But
is there an episode? But there is one episode that Dawn French does last episode, just Dawn French and no Jennifer Saunders.
Yeah.
The other times, both of them are in.
And that was the one where I wondered maybe that skit was written for both of them, and in the end,
you mean both of them? They're the same person.
Oh yes, yes. Sorry, yes.
You're right. It could be that they wanted Jen, but she wasn't available that day or whatever. But it's again, it's all part of the weird little fantastical world that's being built into this episode. That apparently the Easter Bunny is not only real, but she can't tell the time.
Okay. Sorry. Quick
Easter
question.
moves around, doesn't it?
Now, if the Easter Bunnies turn up at this point, does that mean the Easter Bunny exists in the past that they've gone back to? Or did the Easter Bunny get transported back in time with the house?
And she's got the time wrong because, there's a logic to that. Maybe that's June the 12th. Fuck, that's wrong.
Maybe it's Easter back in the past.
Yeah.
Easter's never as late as June.
Now it's Easter in the Middle Ages.
But a lot of fun to think about ridiculous things that don't matter. But yes, it is. Maybe it is that I think it's just that time's gone wibbly wobbly.
Yeah.
I didn't put a logic to that, but you don't always need to or shouldn't for a lot of the young ones. But I like that. I think that is what's happened.
I love how crestfallen she is.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
I'm so apologetic. I'm so sorry about this. But has to take all the chocolates back as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then again, she said it twice, and then, I'm really sorry. She shuts the door.
Right, she goes. Rick starts the process of lording it up over everyone, although we find out that he passed out the night before after half a glass of cider.
Yeah.
But a lot of Rick's internal misogyny comes out here, doesn't it? Because he's really...
He still says, I can still pick up the bird. Chicks,
tarts.
I do
full relationships with the birds.
They've started off earlier and it's like, you scored with a chick. He's like, I wouldn't put it in such sexist terms.
Yeah.
But yes, so
now his true self comes out.
Set up and then, he reveals himself.
Vivian saw two girls in the bathroom.
They
all
all
drunk.
Oh yeah, but they all essentially huddle round, don't they? Mike even like a journalist interviewing him with a tape recorder. They all want to know what happens, but like one of my favourite bits happens here. They ask what happens. Vivian says, "I'm going to be sick." Neil says something like, describe it."
Go into vivid detail.
Okay, I'm going to retch until I open up my alimentary canal, and which I think proves that Vivian does go to medical lectures.
Yeah.
And he's gonna, because he's taking in that information, isn't he?
I think he just likes body parts and anatomy and cutting things up, so he's learned the words of that. Yeah,
he'd know that. But it's a great gag.
But then he also actually literally does, doesn't he? Because at the end of just she comes down the stairs, he throws up on Rick, which, by the way, looks really realistic because it's not just the usual screen vomit of stuff comes out, but he seems to have like some hanging out of his mouth, like when people are actually sick. So, I'm hoping that Aid Edmondson really did commit to the bit.
I don't know if he's actually sick, but it's good detail on whatever it is that he does throw up, isn't it?
I think it's kind of in character for Mike to be really interested in this. It's kind of in character how Vivian's reaction is. I don't think it's out of character as such, but I think it's interesting how Neil goes all childlike and curious and kind of like Big Brother, little brother thing with Rick. Like, what was it like? What was it? And he's got this really naive, sweet smile on his face.
It's this entire adolescent feeling that comes over all of them. I think that
Yeah.
I mean, with Neil, it's innocent, isn't it? In a sort of like, no, I don't. It's like, yeah, well,
Yeah.
that feels almost like I don't know, Rodney or whatever in
Yeah.
Only Fools. No, I don't. Tell
And
me.
everyone
Like,
else would not admit to being a virgin, but then no,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then Mike is obviously meant to be a
Yeah.
man of the world, but he goes the most pervy I think you see Mike in
his
this
game is
episode,
terrible,
doesn't
isn't it? It's just a fucking sex pest.
Yeah, almost as bad as Richie.
I mean,
well, a bit worse,
Yeah.
to be
What does
honest,
he
than
even say
Richie.
to her? Let me put my hand up your dress
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, so ask me
No,
to, like,
I think that is actually from the party episode.
I swear he says something
he
like that in this one.
Would you like me to put your hand up my dress?
He does. He's like, would you like me to put my hand up your skirt?
Skirt.
That's what he
dress,
says.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other end of the spectrum of adolescence, which is very, very Vivian, which is just staring 1 centimetre away from her breast.
Like an animal sniffing their bum or something.
Like a dog sniffing. Yeah. Just sort of staring. And
I don't understand what this creature is.
Yeah.
I want to marry her one day.
But the way in which obviously Jennifer plays it, and just it's like she's not even noticing any of them, isn't
she's
it?
sort of
she's
fairy tale oblivious kind of.
Yeah, and she's a psychopath.
Yeah.
One person she definitely doesn't notice until they all turn around and notice is Rick. Again, this puts me in mind of Richard miming Rubber Johnnies behind two lesbians in a pub, which is Rick behind her, sort of doing the thrusting hips forward, meaning I shagged her, and then turns around and instantly has to sort of like cover for it, doesn't he?
I love how he's pretending he's dancing. He puts the radio on. It's like Gregorian chant.
Oh
yes.
By the way, when he puts the radio on, do you see that the radio is clearly made of foam? Because like he touches it and it just squashes.
It needs to be foam because it's going to get thrown at Neil's head a moment later. Yeah. When Helen comes down and he's like, "Oh, morning, darling," and he goes to tongue kiss her straight, like literally tongue out first to her. Like that's his real game coming out again. 0. He's always bigging himself up as, more sexy, more famous, more popular than he always is. How long until that all falls apart in this? Like, the gang actually do think he has done this, but don't believe it, but still they do believe it, but can't believe it's happened.
Yeah.
And then, Rick, you bloody liar. And they're kind of almost let down, disappointed. Aren't they?
I mean, it's weird and funny that they're let down by the fact he's the biggest pathological liar in the house, and yet they're surprised that he was lying.
I think they're actually just victorious in the fact that he's been exposed.
Don't you think? It's a bit like that.
Like, we knew you were bloody lying.
Vivian's like that, but I think Neil was actually a bit upset. You bloody lie! He said he done it to you. He said he done it to you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Rick has to get his his comeuppance with.
But
that
I think,
but
do you think Rick was starting to believe his own lie? Well,
Yeah.
because I think he could feasibly have passed out drunk, and it has happened.
He has woken up with a girl in his bed,
Yeah.
and what else will have happened?
Yeah.
We wouldn't think
But
that it's a murderess who's just like welcomed
and
herself
then
into the house and climbed into an empty bed.
It was amazing. He said, like, was it? Well, I don't know. I can't remember. But is he trying to put things together in his mind, and the fantasy then becomes memory?
Oh yeah, he's convinced himself that it's real, and again, very Richie. Those flights of fancy that he genuinely believes.
Yeah, and what we go into following this is, again, now one of the things we always remember in Bottom is the elongated fight sequences, such as I'm thinking of things like the bathroom fight and the chess scene fight. And here we have something that literally carries on off into other scenes. That other things happen. We get this thing that starts in the living room with Rick and Vivian starting to throw things at each other. Rick almost gets the better of Vivian at one point by like shoving, what is it, like a cabinet over his head, and
then
seems to trap him.
Then he opens up, jabs him with a fork.
Gets him with a fork, and the fight takes its way upstairs, and stuff carries on happening downstairs, but it leads through into one of the best moments of the young ones, as the actors have talked about before when they've talked about behind the scenes, and Paul Jackson and Ed Bye talked about. We know it's the guys on a bed coming down, crashing into the kitchen area and carrying on fighting, and they did that. In a sitcom studio, you've got 300 people in the audience, but they've kept the bed hidden somehow from the audience. They can't see it. But the actors are up there on the bed, suspended, just with a cable, waiting for it to ping, and they go, and the audience don't know that this is coming. So we've got this stuff happening in the living room, and suddenly, bang, down comes this bed, and you can hear the audience for a moment. There's like a like a shit. Is that supposed to be happening? And then the guys get up. They've probably got the wind knocked out of them.
I think they do
And
say they did. They were winded. But they had
had
to
a line.
get it.
Carry and instantly start fighting. And props to all the art people, because they've got the stuff continuing to fall down, and that requires people to be continually throwing it. And they carry on the fight. And then at that point, the audience get the measure of it. Oh, it was supposed to happen. Oh, okay, thank God for that. But you just get that moment of
yes, you're right. You do hear that. It's an audible gasp from someone.
I mean, because you wouldn't have seen anything like that before in front of your eyes in a studio sitcom. Obviously, in film and things, these things are achieved, but not like right in front of you. A stunt done like that.
Most people have an idea of what the inside of a TV studio looks like. It's a big empty open space, and you've got the sets built in front of you, and usually the area above that you can see up to the ceiling. You've got the lights and things. To have hidden that from the audience would have required an extra level of preparedness, building something around it.
Yeah, they must have put some fake ceiling thing in front of it, maybe.
Because they didn't have to do that, but they did it, and you feel the benefit of the reaction in the audience, don't you?
They mention in the commentary that Rick and Ange did fall from the bed in a rehearsal the day before, once before. Yeah. And there's a great interview with both Rick and Ange have spoken about that scene.
It was absolutely terrifying. We were lying on a bed like this with our backs facing the floor, I don't know, 30 feet up, something like that, 40 maybe, watching this wire. And one of the reasons Ange's great, he's got a million reasons why he's great, is because he's got the balls of a giant. I mean, they're really big. But also he's brave, is the point I'm trying to say. I'm just shitting myself, because this explosion's going to go off here, bang, and then we're going to free fall to the floor. And when we hit the floor, Paul says, as soon as you hit the floor, as soon as you feel the floor, start fighting, okay? And we get into the fight routine. And I was so scared. I said, Ange, I think I'm going to die. And he turned to me and he said, good.
And then they carry on the fight. And then one of the best lines of dialogue between them that I think Vivian and Rick have is like, well, if I'm a virgin, how do I know what a girl's bottom looks like? And like, from looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
And then and just the way Rick is like, damn, I don't have a retort.
Yeah. I've been foiled. I've been caught out here.
I like there's a pause with Vivian thinking of an answer. I've got it. It's the
looking
mirror.
in the mirror. It's so playground. I love it. But I just love Rick's damn. Yeah, it's a spectacular fight sequence. And I think because this is obviously before Bottom exists, you've got that ability to cut away to different characters and things to carry on off screen, because of course in Bottom it's just Richie and Eddie, isn't it? So you've got the sustained fight sequences that happen, but you don't have the chance to sort of cut away and they're still fighting and it coming back in.
The comparable thing in Bottom is Eddie coming crashing down on the piano. So we had to be with Richie for that, and in that case it could only be one of them crashing, because if they were both fighting, who else would we be with? But in this case, while they're upstairs off screen fighting, we're in the living room, aren't we? We've gone to Robbie Coltrane's Cyclops and Gary Beadle, and then we've come back. Robbie Coltrane is like warning Mike and Neil, no, she's trying to kill you.
I love that the radio's aware of what's happening and says, no, you didn't tell me lost hope. Like he knows that he's being thrown out of the window.
And that Mike thinks she's just, it's like, treat me rough, baby, all that
She's
stuff.
trying to throttle him, isn't she?
It's quite a young one's convention for like the plot to be revealed to them and they're too dense to notice. That's the thing. There's a murderer and everyone in the audience now knows, but they have not spotted. They have not.
Dumb and dumber and dumber again, aren't they? Like the fact that she's like not only like throwing their tea over the radio to stop it having the news flash. Then she knocks Neil out.
Yeah, I love the light because you don't see it happens while we're seeing the cutaway.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, I don't know how I managed to spill my tea on it from this distance. Yeah, it's weird. It's sort of like you just picked up and violently threw it at the radio.
It's a lot of fun. But you're right, it is a repeated Young Ones convention, isn't it? They aren't realising what's happening in the action, even though we absolutely are.
She tries to kill Mike. Vivian and Rick are still having their fight ongoing. What does Vivian pick up to use as a weapon to defend himself against Rick?
Neil.
In an impressive display of strength. Thanks to wires, which in most of the shots you can't really see the wires. There's a couple of close-ups. But
you can tell he's suspended.
As soon as you see his movement, you know what it is.
It's kind of like it slowly glides up effortlessly, but Vivian does have superhuman strength. We have seen this previously. I love the light bulb going That is not a puppet. That is a little wind-up toy that was made by the crew just moments beforehand, and then a really naff but charming visual overlay of his face.
Yeah.
The strange thing is, Rick was right. That hippie really does pong. It's so cute and funny.
And I think with that, it's time for a word from our sponsors.
You never know when the neighbours are going to drop in for a chat and a bite to eat.
She said, oh, I said, oh. I said, yes, she said, I thought, well.
So it's always worth having a packet of smash handy. Because it's made of real potato pieces, it ensures a mashed potato with a taste that's unbeatable.
That is good.
For mash, get smash.
I'm quite taken by the amount of physical violence that Neil has inflicted on this episode.
Yeah.
He gets knocked out 5 different times.
Oh, really? Okay.
Gets his head thrown through a ceiling. And almost hung.
Oh, and okay, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, he's definitely a punching bag for people in this.
And this is the one where he falls into the puddle as well.
Yes,
which we'll talk about. We'll talk about Paul Jackson doing that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say, you mentioned in last week's episode about how there's often things done where there's more effort exerted. What was it? It was Rick walks past the ringing phone to say, Neil, the phone's ringing. So in this episode, they all get up. Mike gets up on a stepladder that reaches the ceiling, and in order for them to get Neil up to the ceiling, so he can change the light bulb.
In fact, I don't think Mike jumps.
Mike doesn't. The other two jump. He's sort of coordinating.
He pretends he's going to, but then doesn't.
Neil / Nigel Planer gets to do a lot of physical comedy, a lot of pratfalls, a lot of being knocked out, including, as you say, Ange, we have another Hale and Pace as peasants scene where they're outside. Nigel gets to throw himself backwards into a big muddy puddle, which apparently
he wasn't happy about and was not doing on the day of filming.
Paul Jackson did the thing which I think many directors would recognise this, of the thing where you eventually go, right, I'm going to show you how to do this.
You're missing out an important detail. He was hungover to shit.
They were all hungover because they'd been out with Hale and Pace the night before.
Apparently, whenever Hale and Pace came and did an appearance, the night they arrived, usually the night before they were filming whatever they were doing, would turn into like party night, and everyone would get on it. Paul and the cast and everyone else. And so the next morning, generally, they're working, hanging off their tits. And Nigel has to throw himself backwards into a big muddy puddle. Was doing that actorly thing of like, well, why have I got to do this? Or, I don't want to do it.
He was doing it, but not doing it with enough kind of gusto, or it just wasn't getting the shot. Right. And so, like, as you say, it's a great, the idea that he's obviously just thrown him, like Paul Jackson has thrown himself backwards, say, this is how you do it. And then he's ended up covered in muck.
And he said he couldn't get a change of clothes because costume, he says in the commentary that costume were pissed off at him or something and wouldn't give him one.
I don't know whether that's necessarily true, but it was the idea that wardrobe were refusing that there were any outfits that you could change into. So whether that is that they're pissed off or whether they genuinely had nothing left.
He implied that they were annoyed at how the day was going. Maybe things were taking too long. Maybe the fact that people were hungover was part of it. Maybe people turned up late because they were, pissed the night before. I don't know.
Seems like a weird thing for costume to flex over, though, doesn't it? To the director and producers, you're like, no, you can stay in your piss wet through clothes all day.
It is, but
what a power trip!
But it's the one bit of power they've got. They can I'm not going to give you costume because you've soiled your own clothes. The costume is for on camera, so no, I don't care.
Like he's soiled his clothes because he was pissed and he fell in a puddle or something, is it? Anyway, I would say that's definitely pissy behaviour from them. If that's why it was.
I recognise the frustration with that. I once had a similar thing of when I was trying to explain to an actress, I want you to dive into a pool, swim across, and then come out the other side
naked.
And no, in their swimwear. And but I can't really. And in the end, I sort of got so annoyed, I just pulling off my own clothes and did it in my pants. And then they started going, I've got a phobia of water. I can't put my head underwater. And then she said to the actor, didn't I tell you that yesterday? And he said, yeah, you did tell me that yesterday when we were in the pool together. Yeah. Anyway,
Dirty Feed, our online source of information, has provided some information about Moonlight Romance, the song that Amazulu played. This episode went out before, like 4 months before their single Moonlight Romance was even released. That felt more interesting to listen.
Okay. Was that it?
Yeah. Cut that. boring.
All right, okay.
No, that is interesting. So this was a exclusive play of this new song then.
Yes, the single itself was released 4 months after the episode aired
Right.
in October. It makes the appearance slightly ahead. I think the only time that happened, unless you count Nasty, which was the debut of it, and the only existence of it for.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I mean, I think it was said on the commentary that Amazulu were a band that the guys liked, so they'd actually asked to come on, right?
I can't hear Amazulu without then hearing, oh, really, I'm a Gus region.
Yeah, that is a great little pun in the middle of it, isn't it? And it is interesting that I think obviously you do have previous musical interludes where you've got like the actions happening in between, obviously Ace of Spades and all, but this one feels like there's not a lot of dialogue in other ones, is there? Whereas this one they do interject with quite a bit of dialogue happening in the middle of the song.
True.
But that's great. I mean the Rick's face as well after
looks surprised.
After he says like,
It's like, oh, you can talk. You know you can talk.
I think he's more just surprised at the terrible
pun.
Like I don't know. It's like I don't know. Amazulu. Like it's just.
This is the only time when they have to remove the band afterwards. They don't just magically disappear.
Yeah, they
it's
throw
like,
them
come
out
on,
the
everyone,
back.
get out.
Hey,
get out.
maybe it's the time thing. That's why it was 4 months earlier because they've gone through different times.
Did Amazulu travel back in time? Anyway, it's established they've gone back in time once the knight on a horse, a real horse, burst through the door, squashing Helen Mucus, not Helen back.
On screen for what? 2 seconds if you're lucky.
What,
I've always
the
wondered
horse?
what it is that Helen is suddenly laughing at that distracts her at the door.
It's Mike's joke.
Yeah, I think it's the implication that Mike has a 2-foot penis. That's what she's looking quite pleased about. Yeah, she's giggling at it.
So it's like she hasn't listened to anything else but that bit she does. But then his actual joke is like, keeps showed up in my cornflakes.
Yes, so like it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
And also she's now so like, well, I was going to murder you. It didn't work the first few times I've tried, so I'm just going to go now.
But now you have insinuated you have a 2-foot penis, I might just turn back with some interest. Oh, I've been squashed by the door, but that's been pushed over by a horse. Anyway, he kidnaps her and Neil, thinking Neil's a woman, heads out and meets Hale and Pace.
He mentions he's a hippie knight first, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That he's a pacifist and all that, and then hits him, and they're like, well, I am still a knight.
Unfortunately, too late after he's made the bet that his legs will fall off, they get blown up by Vivian's howitzer. Vivian, where did you get a howitzer?
Found it.
Apparently
That's
it's not
just
a howitzer.
typical.
Oh, really? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen's just really
prop?
nerdy when
What?
it comes to war stuff. He's like, well, that's not a howitzer. Howitzer's a German. That's a British artillery gun. Like, right, okay. So, maybe it's like Rick getting things wrong, I think.
What we need here is the actually meme. Actually.
Yeah, but I don't know what the actual model is, but I'm reliably told that it isn't a howitzer.
Okay.
Now, so with the hut exploding, a fucking amazing bit of trivia from the commentary.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about this?
Yeah,
Ed Bye was running the floor on that, and Paul Jackson was directing, I guess, from an outside broadcast van at the time. They were about to blow up the hut, and Ed just felt like, no, I'm just going to go check inside the hut first, and found an extra reading a copy of The Sun, and they're so fucking to the left him, right? And said, get out! Get out! What are you doing?
Yeah,
Get out!
yeah.
And like, oh, what? And like, you'd have died. They
Yeah.
would have killed someone on the young ones if Ed hadn't. And that wasn't his job to have done that. He just felt, I just feel something.
It is incredible that like risk assessments and all of that kind of health and safety, like now you would like to think that just in no way or shape or form would that happen, right? There would be someone very much, in charge of making sure of where, supporting artists and everyone were on set, right?
But he'd snuck off. He wasn't ever meant to be there. Yeah.
Like who's sitting in a prop? But then I guess you wouldn't necessarily expect for it to be blown up. But you'd all have like I presume even like supporting artists get like the full script.
No, you get the sides, which is the scenes that were shot today.
Right, so they'd know shed explodes, or
they
not?
bloody should know that.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. Well, he's just an idiot. But yeah, good. Ed must have had some sixth sense, mustn't he? He was just like, better just check in here.
Because that's a fucking big explosion. Yeah. That's like the one in Red Dwarf where there was like, for people who take explosives to a job, they often say, we don't want to have to take it back. We don't want to take any back with us, so we want to try and use it all. But like it was in Red Dwarf Series 8 where like Crichton blows up. They go back to medieval times and Crichton blows something up with the tank. That's the one. Apparently, they use like 4 times the amount of explosive they were supposed to. And the explosion in this is fucking massive, and there's a lot of pyro in it as well. There's a lot of flame in it. You know,
the gag is that Neil doesn't he point to from over there behind that hut, and then it blows up, so they think he's a witch because he pointed at the hut and it blew up. Yeah,
I think so.
And then they're all get him,
it's
kill.
All very
kill
chaotic at the end, isn't it? And you got Paul Merton there with Hale and Pace.
Paul Merton, really. I think might be his first appearance on TV. I don't know, but I mean, like he was like also an up and coming comic, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about his TV sort of appearances, but yeah, it just feels like that for me is probably one of the first times that I've seen Paul Merton in it.
And this episode also, so Alexi features as the sort of jester presenter of a piss take of a show called Did You See, which apparently was a real show. It was a bit like Points of View or something.
Yes.
And apparently was a bit scathing about the first series of The Young Ones. So The Young Ones thought, right, we're going to get our own back here and fucking take the piss out of you. And we get Alexi, and we get our very good friend Lee Corns, and Helen Lederer and her fantastic cleavage.
Yeah, they're always together.
And Lee's fantastic cleavage. She's there as Gwendolyn, isn't she? And then, I mean, they are only bit parts, but they have a lot of fun with it. Like Lee's just always great as like really bizarre characters.
Like
isn't
television itself has been pulled into the time warp then, because that's a medieval television show.
Did ye see?
Yeah. Now, I looked everywhere for the footage of Did You See with The Young Ones. Cannot find it anywhere.
Oh, okay.
I've seen the briefest bit of it from The Young Ones, How The Young Ones Changed Comedy, the Studio Crook thing, but the full episode. I know it's series 4 of Did You See?
So did they really pull it apart?
Yeah, so that's one of the worst things I've ever seen on TV, and I'm not joking. Something like along those lines.
Well, this is obviously why they
but
crammed this
how
in. How
many podcasts about Did You See have there been made? Yeah, fucking none. So who's winning?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, another sort of very, very weirdly chaotic build up to the it's the end of the episode just happens, and then there's this really weird, just flat ending, isn't it? They all invade the house.
I love the final line of like, oh, who cares?
Yeah.
That's such a brilliant ending to a TV episode. Oh, who cares?
The scale and the reaction never match.
It doesn't matter, does it? You know,
it is great.
Like playing the fiddle on the Titanic as it sinks, almost. This is play cards.
But I feel like it's not Vivian saying, oh, who cares, as the character Vivian. It's Aid Edmondson in the context of We're Making the Young Ones going, oh, who cares? As in, like, the show is saying, oh, it doesn't fucking matter, does it?
Well, on that same sort of line, I like it when Vivian looks outside and says, oh, no. It's like, mysteriously, the whole house is rolling his eyes, gone through some sort of time warp. It says it the same sort of reading that you'd give. Oh no, it's raining.
Yeah,
oh no, the bins aren't taken out. It's just boring and inconvenient, not a miracle. Oh my god, this is amazing. It's oh no.
Yeah, but
the front doors exploded. Like
this is one of the episodes where they, as you say, they're sort of in it. I don't know if you'd call it meta, whatever you call it, just like self, sort of aware. They're self-aware, aren't they? In this one, it's just like, oh, who cares? And then the credits roll, and it really doesn't matter any of it making sense. And then you have got the peasants all going around the house looking at the teapot
in a bit of a sort of it's a bit
marveling at the teapot.
It's a bit Kill the Hippie again, isn't it? At the end,
yes, it's a bit like that one.
In fact, Paul Jackson describes it as similar to Flood in that it's an episode where the house is overcome by events, or supernatural, external events. Yeah,
and it really doesn't matter because it is just a bit of a fantastical thing that they put the characters through. Because how is Neil been dragged out and suddenly he's like, like none of it makes actual sense. It's weird because the energy of it builds and builds and builds, and then the rug pulls
and then like deflates almost.
Yes, so that's all I mean by quite a flat ending, in that it's just like, oh, it's just Vivian just.
I suppose, but how could you top that? It would.
There is no end to it, is there? Yeah, and that's where it's great. You're expecting some big, massive, final scene, and then it's just like, who cares?
It's, do you know what it is? It's a Monty Python ending, which is, things have all got so silly now, and we're just going to end the sketch here, and that's it. Yeah,
exactly, and that's okay to not have the punchline as such.
Two different Monty Python references in one episode. Yeah. Now, I've got a little bit of information about the flash frames for this episode.
Go on.
This episode no longer contains a flash frame because it's after Nick Cotton, I think is his name.
Nick Cotton from EastEnders.
No, it's something Cotton.
Ma.
Yeah, not the EastEnders character.
I just want some drugs, Ma. Just let me sell your TV.
They were great together.
Nick Cotton made the
two.
flash frames.
It's someone Cotton was the boss and good friend of Paul Jackson and told him, "What's this about the flash frames?" Oh well, we're leading up to this. I don't care. Take it out. But I don't care. Take it out.
As we talked about last week, they made them take them out from broadcast.
And it's from this episode that was affected. Okay,
right,
so
only 3 from the end. Like we're so close to the end, to the punchline, to the payoff.
So this episode did have a flash frame. It was at 10 minutes 14 seconds, just after Dawn French's Easter Bunny leaves the room.
Right.
There was 2 frames of a gurning person from BBC Newcastle, which was from the World Gurning Championships at the Egerman Crab Fair.
Before you said that, I thought you were going to say, when you said BBC News, I thought it was going to be like from a report on drugs or something. Like this new drug, ecstasy, sweeping the UK, and there'll be someone gurning in a rave or something.
No. Literal, like the Gurning Championship.
Okay.
So that flash frame was later removed from the BBC archive version. So they had to go back a generation of recording to remove it because the 2 frames that were taken out were taken out.
You've now got to fill them back in with something, right?
Yes, the gunning frame from Time is now entirely missing from the BBC archives and all future, like the Blu-ray it's not in.
It's gone.
Yeah, I think maybe on some of the broadcastings. I'm not even sure it's on the VHS. I remember vaguely seeing it once. A gurning man, like I think it's with the big horseshoe thing and the guy doing the weird, the gurning face.
So it was here today, gurn tomorrow.
Oh, do the gurn. Everyone do the gurn.
Come on, that was as good as Ben Elton's ever written. Yes. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't really. Who cares? But the flash frames is an interesting point, isn't it? We were saying last week, like what's the hill you're going to die on? And of all the things that could have been taken out, the young ones, I'm not that upset that the flash frames are the thing that went, because they were just meant to be really random inserts that maybe you wouldn't even notice. It was interesting on the commentary that Lisa said she quite likes that they're in there and they're irritating. And that's all they're really meant to be, isn't it? It's just meant to be what was that?
Yeah.
And then obviously it was building up to a big payoff, which I think Paul talks about on another commentary where it was like a bit of an in-joke with the editor.
Yeah.
So they were building up to one that actually said.
But this is where the rug got pulled. We're episode 4 out of 6. So everything up until now has had a freeze frame, but this one didn't get one. Episode 5 didn't get one, and then the final one where they go over the cliff didn't
But
get
you know
one.
what? I think
Ed Woodden would have had a real
It
job.
would have.
Of
You know
taking them
what?
out.
I bet they would have had it just as the bus is going down over the cliff. They put something in just as it's about to hit the ground or something. Maybe
we will never know. But I do think there is one in the Good Life parody.
Okay.
Moment. I think there's one there. We'll have to look out for that when we do that one.
Do you know what? Okay. We'll have to ask Paul where where would the other ones have gone in the other episodes?
I don't fucking remember
I
that.
can't
What are you talking like when he's mentioned some of the episode clip things, he's like, and the explosion thing. I'm not sure what episode that is. Like, what do you mean you don't know what episode that is? Why don't you know every episode
he's done? He's done a lot of telly.
I know.
Because the flash frames were this in joke, whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't think they were there in the script, like, this is where they go, was it? I think Ed Woodden had just been instructed to just insert them randomly anyway, hadn't he? So I don't think there was that should happen when that's finished. Was there? I don't think. I think it was just put them in because it's, and at random.
So guys, episode 4, Time for you. What are your standout moments? I know what mine is. It's got to be the elongated fight between Rick and Vivian that starts with, I think it's hurling a cup, moves on to using a cabinet on Vivian, a fork in the bum, all the way upstairs, down to crashing down through the ceiling on a bed with a fight that immediately carries on. That for me has to be the absolute
and that's
standout
not because
moment.
that's not the ending of it, is it? The ending is the howitzer and then him pleading for his life, and then he comes down with the sign, I am a virgin.
And I do love when it's like, I'll get the t-shirt made tomorrow. So that's an interim that he's going to have that around his neck. It's not just one night. He's got to get a t-shirt made and pay him, what was it, 59p in compensation for lying. Yeah, that's all brilliant. I mean, it's undisputably one of the best fight sequences I think Rick and Aid ever did. Even, it's up there with all the ones they did in Bottom.
Certainly the strongest fight scene in the young ones, top 5 of their career. I agree. Really good bit. Mine's a real small, silly one.
Go on.
I bet in 1 second both my legs will fall off. I fucking laughed my head off at that because I was expecting his legs to fall off as well, like he's got leprosy or something.
But I mean, I like the fact that at the end they get blown up, don't they? So his legs do fall off. Because I thought that was part of the thing of like, he's right. He's just his timing's wrong.
That's interesting that you find that really funny, Matt. Like I've never found that bit.
Yeah.
Like it's never got me. Like I don't know. It's interesting what little things obviously tickle you, isn't it? And yeah, I don't know. It is just a random thing where you're expecting it to happen, then it doesn't, isn't it? But it's a lot of fun. I think.
In fact, sorry, Matt's just played it there. When they explode, are his legs still there by any chance, or no?
Let's see.
They didn't actually blow his legs off for the scene.
Blew his body off instead.
Is it not that supporting artist's legs that you see flying through the air in the background?
No.
Okay. See,
but yeah,
that,
it does.
In that case, I'm going to say to Paul Jackson, you should have had a pair of mannequin legs still remaining there.
You're right. Let's go back and reshoot it.
Standout moment other than obviously what's already been said in terms of the fight is, I mean, it's obviously got to be Rick waking up in the double take with Jennifer in the bed, or Helen Mucus. It would be a lovely, lovely name for Rick to end up with, wouldn't it? He's marrying Helen Mucus. And then, just all the build up to him and the big lie, the fifth cup of tea, and obviously the very thinly veiled sexism that comes out of Rick when he's like tarts, women. Yeah, it's so very beautiful to see a lot of Richie coming out of Rick in this episode, and it's a very,
it's a proto bottom episode.
Vivian and him arguing, it's always my favourite bit. So all of those parts are just very beautifully done in time, aren't they? And the rest of it, again, doesn't really make any sense, but it's a fun little journey.
I think
to go
it's
on.
embracing how much it doesn't make sense. I think it's not any kind of a mistake or failing of the writing.
No,
it's complete mania throughout. I did mention as well, I like to put into my special mentions, I love that Neil gets knocked out so many times in a row. Like he seems to get knocked out, gets up and gets knocked out again 1 or 2 times.
Chumbawamba, isn't he? Yeah. No, it is. And Nigel Planer, I think, we have had him sort of on the commentaries in general. He's obviously moaned about sometimes some of the things he goes through in it. But he does go through quite a lot of physical pain, probably, to make these things work, because he's so tall. Falling to the floor can't be that easy. Certainly
it takes longer.
I wouldn't want to be doing it.
Exactly. Christopher Ryan, it wouldn't have been any distance at all, would it?
But yeah, it's a great one. I think it's not in my top 3 or anything. Right. I don't know where you guys would put this one in
episode,
terms of
not top
overall.
3, but moment, as you said, Matt, probably top 5 of their career, has a moment that would, that's up there with the stunt work they were doing in the Dangerous Brothers.
Exactly, that elevates it, doesn't it?
There was on the commentary, Peter Ragg mentioned that fall on the bed, they actually reached terminal velocity, which it's as fast as you can possibly fall.
Right.
Fucking hell.
How far is that? Do we know?
You know what? When Rick talked about this in an interview, he was describing it. It must have been for a documentary. And he said, and, people do exaggerate and memory does do things, but he said we must have been 30 or 40 feet up in the ceiling of the studio. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But
30 or 40.
But I mean, like, the clearance they would have needed to have at least not been in shot would have been at least 12 feet. So it would be a lot higher than that.
Because you wouldn't necessarily look up in the studio, would you? Like, I wonder if there's anyone hiding up on the rafters.
Anyway.
Fantastic commitment to the bit. Fantastic episode.
Should we have a little read of some of the contemporary reviews and articles of the day?
Yes. Why not? So the 20th of May one from the Sunday Telegraph.
Okay, this is from the Daily Mail on the 14th of June 1984. It's only a short little bit. BBC admits word flash. Split-second comic messages, which would be illegal if shown on ITV, have been featured in every episode of BBC Two's comedy series The Young Ones, the BBC admitted yesterday. Admitted? Well, they've been broadcasting it. The disclosure follows the row over ITV's satire puppet show Spitting Image last weekend, which showed a subliminal message. That would be Rob Grant and Doug Naylor slipping that in there. These are banned under the Broadcasting Act, covering all ITV programmes, but not on BBC programmes, which are governed by its royal charter.
Interesting. And was it that they said the writers are very good in bed?
That was it.
Rob Grant and Doug Naylor put in?
And also they put a flash frame up of some right-wing columnist naked or something.
Oh, really?
Like they put a nude thing. And
they pasted. It's Norris McWhirter,
That's
right?
it, yes.
That they put his head onto some sort of, I don't know, some nudie love pic. Yeah. I mean, I laugh, but I guess you could see why Norris would be annoyed.
I'll read this one after you as well, because it's about the Did You See?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Okay. Okay, and then this one is from the Sunday Times on the 10th of June in 1984. The headline is How to Catch the Joke. It says, The Young Ones, whose Tuesday night comedy series on BBC One attracts a cult following, have been enjoying an in-joke which a handful of viewers, not to mention BBC bosses, are finally catching on to. Each of the 6 episodes in the current series contains 1 or 2 split-second images cut into the action which appear on the screen as a mere blip. The game, for those in the know, is to record the programme on a VCR and then, using the freeze frame control, stop the tape and discover the hidden image, or flash frame as it is called. Working out the joke is trickier. Examples so far include a half-second clip from a Western inserted in the credits of the first episode, the 2 separate frames of a dripping tap cut into a sequence about video nasties. Because flash frames can register subconsciously, politicians and broadcasters have always been concerned about their use since they could be employed for political indoctrination or subliminal advertising. A clause in the BBC Charter forbids broadcasts influencing the minds of members of an audience without them being aware or fully aware of what has been done. A BBC spokesman admits the use of flash frames is not normal practice, but says that in the case of the young ones, they are simply a visual device to intrigue and amuse. Paul Jackson, the producer of the series, says, they are the equivalent of putting messages at the end of the grooves in 60s record albums, as the Beatles did. You could say this is a new kind of video parlour game. If you want to play the game this Tuesday, watch for the moment when Alexei Sale leaps across the room to greet hippie Neil's parents and freeze. So this one was the 10th of June.
Right.
Sure.
The 16th of June. So that one will be episode 5.
This goes back to the 5th of December 1982, so this would have been for series 1 of The Young Ones. In the Sunday Times, 5th December, on Did You See, BBC Two, opinions of The Young Ones were evenly split between easy loathing, Ludwig Kennedy and Lawrence McMenley, and effortlessly enthusiasm, Julie Walters and Desmond Morris. This seemed fair enough to me, as I feel evenly split myself. I do detest comedy that wastes as much effort as Rick Mail does in shrieking and banging, but since at the moment the whole British life is a comedy of wasted effort, you can hardly call the style inappropriate.
British live comedy is a wasted effort. Is
no,
that what they're saying
British.
there?
The whole of British life is a comedy of wasted effort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's not as bad. I thought they were saying that British live comedy was.
Yeah.
But no, just life is, of course, a wasted effort.
Sneak in one more?
I've got a couple of letters. I'm not sure what the publication is, but these are letters to the editor.
Is this the Radio Times ones?
You love them, you hate them?
Yeah, they look quite nice. Let's do it. Why not?
All right, okay. So this is when the series has returned, because the second one, I'll read the second one first. Welcome back to our screens, Rick, Neil, Mike and Vivian. How enjoyable it is to share again their revolting, nauseous and absolutely hilarious lifestyle. Joanne Harmon in Stirlingshire. But Brian N. Taylor in Kent is clearly not pleased, because he says, I decided to watch the first episode of The Young Ones, Tuesdays BBC Two, and I wasted 35 minutes of my life. Described as zany humour, bringing us the best of the bizarre, this programme is nothing of the sort. It's utter rubbish, full of filth and disgusting language and an insult to the intelligence of any normal person. Whoever wrote this drivel should be utterly ashamed of themselves. So also should anyone associated with the programme, particularly the actors taking part. The programme is coarse, disgraceful and disgusting. If the BBC inflict this tripe on us, and in particular attempt to influence the minds of the younger generation into believing that this sort of thing is in any way remotely funny, I suggest it thinks again. ... Thanks, Brian.
Well, they spelt Kent wrong, didn't they?
Right, time for a quiz. 10 questions now about the episode time. Matt and Angela will be using farts for their buzzers. Let's hear your fart.
Right, and my one is quick fart.
Excellent. Love it. Brilliant. Right, here we go. Question number 1. Fingers on sphincters. The show opens with a Dallas spoof. On the opening credits of this spoof, tell me just one of the listed credits on the fake show. There are at least 5 credits. Go on, Ange.
Randy the Cowpoke? Is that what you mean?
No, I'm talking about jobs. There are things like, for example, there might be director or
before it even goes in. Oh, fuck.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 credited roles.
So you want the role or the name?
I want the role.
So before the actors ones come in, I can't remember.
Best boy.
No.
Okay. No, I remember they're all really kind of in jokes for the industry, aren't they? I didn't write them down.
They are executive, storyline consultant, series casting, vitriol casting, budgetary consultant, and 20-year planning.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 2. In this Dallas spoof, Nigel Planer plays a character called E.T. What is E.T.'s surname?
I actually can't remember. Well, I mean,
Well,
terrestrial.
It starts with a T.
No.
Oh, because it's
So
Val Venus.
Val Venus is
That's
Rick's
Rick's
character.
It's not Val Venus, I'm afraid.
I honestly can't remember.
His character's name is E.T. Fairfax.
Oh,
Fairfax.
yes.
Okay, all right. Question number 3. It's 0 apiece at the moment. When recounting the story of his alleged conquest, Rick says Helen took her bra off. What does he say he then took off?
No, I took my dungarees off.
Is the right answer. It's his dungarees. That's 1 point to Matt. Okay. The Easter Bunny turns up, but it's not Easter. According to Rick, what is today's date? I think Matt just picked that. Sorry.
June the 12th.
Is the right answer. Yes. Okay. 2 points to Matt. Okay. All right. Question number 5. When Mike dumps the cornflakes on the table, what toy animal is in the pile of cornflakes, Matt?
Elephant.
It is a toy elephant. Okay. That's 3 to Matt. All right. Question number 6. When they turn the TV on, what's the name of the TV show that Alexi Sal is presenting? Matt?
Did thou see?
Did thou see?
No, did ye see?
Yeah.
Did ye see? Fuck.
Yeah.
Got it wrong.
I'm going to give that one to Ange. Okay, 3-1. All right, here we go. All right, question number 7. What is, according to the show, the make or name of the gun that Vivian uses to try and kill Rick?
Howitzer.
Is the right answer.
Actually.
So I amended that to according to the show. Okay, 4-1 to Matt. Okay, right. The boys did a dummy run on changing the light bulb with what?
A packet of Smash.
Is the right answer.
Which is even better than a packet of real potatoes.
Broke into 15 million pieces.
And each one of those pieces broke into 15 million pieces. At that point, I stopped
Is this
counting.
the next question? How many fucking pieces?
That was going to be question number 9. How many pieces
both
did it?
got that.
Well, do you know what?
Well, that's hard because the 15 million piece in each one of those broke into 15 million. Have you added those two numbers up?
No.
Have you?
No,
30 million.
no. Okay.
No. Hang on. What is that?
No, 15 million times 15 million.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I don't think we need Anyway, Matt's about 5. It's about 5-1 at the moment. So we just got the one question left. Here we go. When the boys realise that no power means no TV, what show does Neil say he will die if he doesn't watch?
Scooby-Doo.
Is the right answer, Ange. Okay, that was either 4-2 or 5-2 to Matt. Anyway, well
Panic!
done.
Panic! When you said panic, I didn't realise you meant hang me.
I love it.
But he wants to die. What's the problem?
I love it when he's like, I'll die if I can't watch Scooby-Doo.
Excellent. Right, well done, guys. Very
great,
well
because
done,
I obviously didn't give enough attention to the Dallas spoof, but
I completely missed those jokes for the credits. They're very funny.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of blink and you miss them.
Yeah.
You know?
I obviously did watch them, but I didn't go back and write them down. Should have done better revision next
time. Do you know what?
time.
I thought it would be the kind of thing that both of you would be like, I bet he does a question on that.
Sometimes there's one I really thought was going to be a question. What was the VHS on top of the video recorder that you see?
Go on, what was
which
it?
is 2 million maniacs instead of 10,000 maniacs.
Do you know what? I could see maniacs and I couldn't make out the number. So
that's what I thought. I'll remember that. That's going to be one. Well, I thought you was going to ask what was the title of the radio program. It's called something like the Boring Religious Radio Program, something like that. I never knew that was Robbie Coltrane. Until
did you not? I recognised the voice as soon as I heard it, and then you see him and you're like, well, that's him.
Yeah.
Robbie Coltrane does a brilliant turn in that, and as does Gary Beadle.
There's a nice
Beadle.
Do you notice the record player is being the needle is a severed hand with a hook?
Yeah, with a hook. Yeah. It's very well
I
done.
think it's quite striking. A Cyclops with an eye patch, I think, is quite funny.
Yes,
just the one
your
eye
one
covered
eye
up.
is fucked, and you've got to wear the patch.
Do you know, like when
but it does work.
When that sketch started, and you could see it was a Cyclops, I genuinely thought, oh, it's going to be he's in the kingdom of the blind and he's the one-eyed man is king. But it wasn't that at all. Yeah, I just thought,
That's a note that you could have given them at the time.
Hey guys, you know what you could have done? You know what you could have done? I'm going to tell Paul Jackson how he could have improved the Hale and Pace sketch. Have a pair of legs still there. Well, there you go. That was the episode time. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with Sick.
Well, you should have said next time.
Oh, huh? We're back next time.
Yeah,
next
time.
Oh, I see. Well, that was the episode time. We'll be back next time
Yay.
with the episode Sick. So we shall see you then. In the meantime, we're on social media at Talking Bottom on all the social medias. I'm not going to bother listing them all because we've done them lots. You can message us at 11mathkingparade@gmail.com if you are so inclined.
So on the 30th and 31st of May this year, we're going to be at the Rick Mail Comedy Festival the second time, interviewing Paul Jackson for the second time.
But not live in the room. This is going to be the
first time
we
live
ever
in the
have
road.
Paul
Yeah, you're
on.
right. We're going to be showing some of his favourite Rick Mail related clips from the young ones and Bottom and Filthy Rich and Cat Flap, various things. Yeah, talking about his career and you know what an interview is. Then we're going to go over the road. We're going to go over the road 2 hours later, I think, to do a screening of the episode Happy Families that Rick Mail is in.
It's a bit further up the road, I think. The St Andrews Hotel we're going to be in.
Okay, so it's not right.
It's not over the road.
Near, it's
no.
like 10 minutes walk away.
Okay, right. Well, so you can get there in 2 hours easily.
Yeah.
Where we'll
Again,
also,
I hope we can.
We'll be doing a Q&A with him as well. We'll be opening up questions to the audience as well because we'd have spoken to him quite a long time and we'll be hogging him at that point.
I mean, basically what we're saying is if you've got a ticket, you are coming to Droitwich and you're already coming to see Paul talk about the young ones and everything else in his career, then you should also come to Happy Families as well because there'll be a whole extra thing that we'll be talking to him about there and you'll be able to ask him questions yourself. So that's going to be great. And then on the Sunday night, we've got the Talking Bottom pub quiz, which we won't just stick to Bottom. We're just going to make it Rick themed, aren't we? Like, we'll just throw in a load of questions that everyone can have a laugh with if you've ever been a fan of any of Rick's work.
Fabulous prizes to be won.
Yes, and please come in costume because there'll be prizes for that.
Yeah, if you want, but no pressure if you don't want to.
You're going to be
won't
in costume, aren't you, Matt?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh,
No, I'm not going to give myself a prize.
okay.
No, but are you coming in costume?
No,
Oh, right.
probably not.
Why are you sat here like a medieval peasant right now?
That's just my fashion.
No, amazing. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week. We've only got 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a couple of interviews and stuff.
2 episodes.
Of the series.
2 episodes on the main series. Then we'll be covering the controversial American attempt, the American pilot. And of course, we've got some interviews to put out as well.
Yes.
Oh, no, not them. Wonder why it failed.
Think as well, maybe an episode on the book and Living Doll as well, maybe, or maybe that fit in with the pilot one.
We're going to talk about everything we possibly can squeeze out of the young ones, all the grime and grot we can squeeze out of them. We'll cover.
But yeah, got a couple more interviews. The Oblivion Boys ones we had in between series 1 and 2. Obviously, hopefully you've checked that one out. If not, please check it out. It's one of my favourite interviews we've done actually because
Steve and Mark were so
they
much fun.
bloody like their banter between them. Like the interview kind of fell apart, but in a fun way. You know, like they're just bantering all the time and talking over each other, but in a fun way. Like in
a way that we never do.
Yeah,
it's never fun. That's what we miss out. But anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.